Hi, welcome back to my channel, everyone. Today I wanted to do a video talking about my favorite books of 2025. So I read 148 books last year, and I had a few favorites, and not all of my favorites are 5 stars. And there's sometimes a reason why I don't give a book 5 stars. It sometimes has to do with the writing or the story or how I felt during the entire book, but that doesn't mean it wasn't my favorite, if that makes sense. So I thought I would go into those and kind of just share with you guys my favorite books of 2025. I have 2 digital books, 10 physical books. I had 2 series that I really loved, and I won't be holding those up physically, but I'll probably put like a picture in the corner or something. So let's get into it. My first one that I wanted to talk about is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I absolutely loved this sci-fi. This is my first adult sci-fi, and I absolutely loved this book. I just thought that the writing was so good, so fun, and I really loved all of the detail that he added in the book, like the scientific detail and going into a little bit more of the math part of it. But this book is about and I'm kind of going to summarize without spoilers, so this video should be spoiler-free. This is about a man who is sent into space to save the world, basically, because the sun is dying. They can't figure out why. And I don't want to say why the sun's dying because I feel like that's a bit of a spoiler, but maybe not a huge spoiler, so I'm not going to go into that. But the sun is dying, so he goes into space to try and figure out why. The book goes into a lot of detail of the scientific aspects of space travel and all of the technology that they're using to try and figure out why the sun is dying. And so I thought this was really fun, really enjoyed this one. The next one was actually gifted to me by Avon. This is Warrior Princess Assassin by Brigid Kemmerer. I think that's how you pronounce her name. But I really liked this one as well. This was a really, really fun romantasy. Again, don't want to go into any details with spoilers. So this is a threesome romantasy about a girl who lives in a kingdom. And the kingdom is trying to create an alliance with another kingdom like across the land from them. I don't exactly remember why, because I read this book a while ago. So don't quote me on why they're trying to make the alliance. I don't remember. But this one was just a lot of fun. It was definitely very romance heavy. It was not as much fantasy heavy. It felt definitely more romance heavy, but was still really good, really fun, super enjoyable. And I liked the romance a lot more than I thought I was going to. I was worried that this one would be a little too romance heavy for me, but I didn't feel like it was too bad. Because I like a romantasy, but I really like when it focuses more heavily on fantasy and not as much as romance. But I actually ended up eating this up. Like, I had so much fun with this book. I really, really enjoyed this. I think I gave this one a 5 star. I think. I didn't end up giving Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir a 5 star because I struggled with some of it in the middle because it got a little bit boring at times for me. I was still interested, but it just got slower, so that's why I didn't end up being a 5 star. Now, the next one I have is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. This is a YA sci-fi. I believe it's YA. I'm pretty sure that it is. This one was so good. I ate this up. I loved this. This is about a girl named Spencer who wants to become a pilot so that she can kind of make a name for herself and change her family's legacy in a way. That might not be the word I'm looking for, but this one was really, really good. I thought the sci-fi aspects were so strong and really fun, and I thoroughly enjoyed everything about this. It also didn't feel too YA, if that makes sense. Like, it follows her character. She's 16, 17. I think she's 17 in the next book, which I just finished, but she's around that general age, and it doesn't feel overly YA, if that makes sense. I just think overall, great book. This one also ended up being a 5 star. I'll talk about one of my digital ones next. I really loved To Cage a Wild Bird by Brooke Fast. I think it's her debut book. Oh wait, I actually have a copy of that one. I totally forgot. I do have a copy of this book. To Cage a Wild Bird by Brooke Fast. Another one of my absolute favorites. This is a dystopian romance novel that I thought was so fun. It's about a city, the city of Dividum, I think is what it's called, which is like a dystopian city where the citizens are oppressed, there's not enough food, there's not enough resources, stuff like that. And then this one girl, I don't know if that's considered a spoiler, so I'm actually not going to say what happens, but it follows a main female lead that is really fun, really engaging and enjoyable. I don't think I gave this one a 5-star either because, again, there was some of that slowness in the middle, which wasn't necessarily bad, but I felt like there was an occasional time when it went into too much detail that wasn't really needed, which is the only reason it wasn't a 5-star, but overall still a fantastic book. Would highly recommend this dystopian novel. I think it's also a series. I think it will be, yes, this one will also be a series. Which I'm excited to read the next one. I think I remember what happened at the end of this, but don't quote me on that. The next one I read that I loved is The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley. It's Foley or Folly? I think it's Foley. But by Lucy Foley. This one was a really fun, dark mystery thriller. I wouldn't say it was like hardcore thriller. I would say it gave more mystery vibes. I really liked this one. I don't think I showed it closer to the camera. It's got this really fun like matte cover that I really like. But this one was really fun. Very dark, gloomy, foggy type of vibes. I feel like I really liked it. I don't know how to say a whole lot about this book without spoiling some aspects. So I think the main character is a girl, and I don't want to like say too much, but the main character is a female. You kind of follow her story and you kind of go through it with her as well as some other people, because I believe it's a multi-POV. Yes, it's a multi-POV. It has time jumps. And I think just overall, this one's really fun. I read it with my little sister and we had a great time. I thought the writing was really fun. I really liked how the story flowed. It made sense to me. It didn't feel confusing. And I remember towards the end just being on the edge of my seat. So would highly recommend this one if you're looking for a good mystery thriller. And then another mystery thriller I loved. Is this more thriller or mystery? I don't know. But The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This book was so good. This was a 5-star read for me. I just did not see the ending coming. It was so twisty. I was just like, what? By the end, I was shocked. I was surprised. I had no idea what was going to happen. No idea what was coming. So I thought that this one was really fun. Would highly recommend this one. And I'll summarize some of this book. This is about a girl who becomes a live-in housemaid for this rich family. I don't know which state it's actually set on. I feel like it's East Coast, but don't quote me on that. But she's a live-in housemaid for them. And as she is there longer, she starts to notice some really suspicious, spooky things happening that she's not a fan of. The next one I want to talk about is All We Have Is Time by Amy Tordoff. And I'll put an image right here of the cover. But that one was so good. It was, I don't want to say sci-fi, I don't want to say fantasy, but maybe it's more sci-fi, like it has sci-fi aspects. But it's very much a romance. It's between these two people from different times, and that's all I'm going to give you, is not spoil too much. But it's, yeah, I don't want to say too much without spoiling it, but this book broke my heart. Like, I was absolutely sobbing my eyes out at the end of this book. I have pictures of me just absolutely sobbing. It was such a good book. And then one of the series I wanted to talk about was ACOTAR, which I have, you can see right there behind me. I absolutely love the ACOTAR series. Read that for the first time this year. Absolutely ate up the first 3 books. Loved them. I would say the first one was not a 5-star for me. Second one, definitely a 5-star. Loved that one. I definitely want to do a reread of that one here soon. And then I really enjoyed the third one. However, I wasn't a huge fan of the ending, just because of some things that happened, I guess. I don't want to spoil anything, but A Court of Frost and Starlight was just okay. It was a cute little novella. I had fun. But however, and this is a hot take, don't come for me, I did not like A Court of Silver Flames. I did not like it at all. I thought it was way too long. The story wasn't very strong. It was mainly focused on romance. Did not really like that one. So we'll probably never do a reread of the 5th book, but I understand why people like it. It just wasn't for me. I like something that's more storyline driven, and it didn't feel as heavily storyline driven as the first 3 did, which is why I think it just wasn't quite for me. The next one I want to talk about is Funny Story by Emily Henry. This is my all-time favorite of hers. I absolutely loved this book so much. I remember reading it and being gripped from page 1. I don't recall giving this a 5-star, and I don't really know why, because I think if I went back and reread it, it would probably be a 5-star for me now. But this was so good. I loved this one so much. This is about a girl who gets dumped, and her fiance ends up immediately running off with somebody else because she basically confessed to him that she was in love with him. And he was like, oh yeah, okay, well then I'll definitely call off my wedding for you. So he did, and then she ends up moving in with her fiance's new girlfriend's ex-boyfriend. Which is like, I know, kind of a lot, kind of crazy. But it was just such a fun storyline. It's so fun to follow, and it's so fun to see the character growth, not just like from her, but also from the other ex that she ends up moving in with, because they were both dumped by these people for each other. Like her fiance ended up with this girl, and this, you know, just kind of that type of situation. It was just such a fun read, and I had so much fun with this one. This is my all-time favorite Emily Henry book. The next one is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. This one was my first STEM romance, and I loved it. I loved the scientific aspect because I'm really interested in science. I, however, am no good at it, so I did not pursue science, but I find it incredibly interesting. So I think that was one thing that really added to this book for me. I also really enjoyed the chronic illness-esque representation because the main female character has diabetes, and you kind of get to see her struggle with that health issue throughout the book, which meant a lot to me personally as somebody with a chronic illness. This book I just connected so well with, and I connected so well with the main female character, which is why I think I fell in love with it. But the romance is also really cute. I just think the romance was so fun, and I loved the vibes. Everything about this book was just so good. And then another series that I will talk about, which I read for the first time this year, I'm sure you all know what it is, probably going to be. It is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I fell in love with that series. I gave every book a 5-star except for Tower of Dawn, because I did struggle with Tower of Dawn because it was kind of slow at parts. I wasn't a huge fan of Chaol when it started. Yeah, it was just an okay one for me. But I did still enjoy it. And then the rest of the series, 5 stars. Absolutely 5 stars. I loved Assassin's Blade. I fell in love with Celaena's character in that book. I absolutely loved Throne of Glass. I thought the plot was so fun and the little mystery that was thrown in. Loved Crown of Midnight. Loved Heir of Fire. Loved Queen of Shadows. Loved Empire of Storms. Loved Kingdom of Ash. Just loved them all. I was so glad that I got to read that for the first time, just the experience, and then now I have friends reading it for the first time. It's such a good series. I just think that the writing is so well done. The story is laid out in such a cohesive, understandable way that allows you to fall in love with the characters as they go through this journey, which is part of why I love it so much. Because you just end up feeling so connected to the characters in the story, and I think that was such a strong part of the book, was how much you really fall in love with the characters that you're reading about. But yeah, overall, that was like a 5 out of 5 star series for me. Even with the not 5-star Tower of Dawn rating, I would still say 5 out of 5 star series for me. But Tower of Dawn, while it was not a 5-star, it was still enjoyable, especially the ending. So it's not that it's a bad book, it's a slow book that I just didn't care as much about. And then my first book that I read in 2025 was Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I loved this book. I ate this up. This was one of my first books on my reading journey, because I started my reading journey in October of 2024. So this was one of my first books that I read kind of during that reading journey, because I only read like 4 in 2024 and then 148 in 2025. So this is what I feel like really got me started on reading a lot more than I was before. And it was just so fun. I had such a great time with this book. I absolutely ate up the romance. I loved the dragons. I loved the academic setting. And I thought overall this book was just so much fun. However, with that said, I do not like the rest of the series. I only like this one. I only like the first one because I read Iron Flame, I think, shortly after I read this one, and I did not like Iron Flame. And then I read Onyx Storm when it came out, and I hated Onyx Storm. Again, popular book that I did not like, do not come for me. But this one was just so much fun. I really enjoyed everything about it. I don't remember giving it a 5-star because there were certain things in it that I was like, I can't remember what they were, but I remember having that feeling of like, oh, that was weird. But overall, I just thought this story was really fun. And I really, really enjoyed this book. I would say it's definitely what got me started on reading the amount of books that I do now. It helped me fall in love with books. This book, and I would say Dracula, was another one that helped me fall in love with books, but that was a 2024 read. So yeah, that is my wrap up for 2025, my top favorite books of 2025. Definitely check these out if you're interested in any of them. I think that they are so much fun. Definitely worth your time, definitely worth a read. And of course, if you don't like the genre, you're probably not going to like it, but I think overall, objectively, they are good books for the most part. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you like this wrap up, and I'm going to try and start posting more regularly. Well, maybe not regularly, but at least once a month. I'm going to try and post more than that if I can, but I got things, so I get busy and then I forget. But yeah, so thank you for watching, and I hope you like this video.